Hey family, what's up? Strat here, back again from Strategic Audio with a brand new music production video. Today I'm going to be making a simple soul sample and showing you how easy and uncomplicated they can be to make from scratch and still have them sound good, authentic, and musically rich. If that sounds good to you, please drop a like on the video, and if you're so inclined, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. As usual, I'm going to start with some piano chords using Piano Tech 8. I'm playing in a key of E minor at 85 BPM. So like I said, this is about making these types of samples easy. This chord progression is very simple and it's easy to construct. Literally, it's just A minor 7 to B minor 7, then A minor 7 to B minor 7 again, and ends off on a C major 7. Super simple, right? If I played these same chords in their most basic form, we get something that sounds like this. Too easy, right? So I didn't just want to have those basic voicings, so I made them all basically 7th chords. So I went from the basic A minor to the A minor 7 by adding the 7th note in the scale. Watch. That G would be the 7th note. I also thickened it up by adding in the lower E with the left hand. Watch again. Then to make it even more interesting, I just played it with a nice rhythm instead of having the chords just be sustained. No mad science or magic to it, I just played what felt right. The rhythm plus the 7th chords just makes it more interesting to listen to. If you wanted to go even further and try a different voicing, you could have used the A minor 9, which is this. But it's not always necessary to, go that far with the complexity of your chords. You can if you want to, depending on what you want. Because when you add the knife, the voicing obviously is different, so it can take you in a different place melodically. Anyway, that's another lesson for another time. Let's move on. All right, let's add some guitar. So I get it, I understand. Not everyone can pick up and play a live guitar lick to create melodies like this. And therefore you might say, well, Strat, that's not easy. That's not easy, what are you talking about? I get it, I understand. However, there are a lot of good guitar VSTs out there. Some of them from Native Instruments. Check out the Electric Sunburst. I think that's what it's called. And with those, you can get a really nice, decent guitar sound and replicate something like this. Now, I'm not a good guitar player by any stretch of the imagination. I taught myself how to play a few chords, and I taught myself to understand the fretboard, which allows me to play simple melodic licks like this. If you can take the time to understand the fretboard, it's just as effective as taking the time to understand the piano keyboard and where the notes are and which notes work well with which other notes. It's not rocket science. If you want to and you can take the time to do it, it'll add such an extra element to your music production process. If not, that's what samples are for. That's why I make loops. If you want to try to make your own loops, but you still don't want to take the time to play the guitar, like I said, get a good guitar VST and get good with processing to make it sound as authentic as possible. So this guitar is just a simple counter melody, no fuss at all, just something that I freestyled and I figured it felt right and it went with the chords. Now let's move on to the bass line. Super simple once again. If you've seen my videos before, you will know that this is from a sound font that I picked up years ago. It just has a really authentic, in my opinion, electric bass sound, electric bass vibe, and I love using it in this genre in this style of composition. And basically all I'm doing here is following the root notes of the chords, as well as the rhythm that they're playing, to make it all cohesive. Again, it's not overcomplicated. This is just the fundamentals. All right, let's go ahead and add some vocals. These are usually important to add to the overall authenticity of the soul sound that we're going for. Once more, these are very simple. These vocals are out of Omnisphere, by the way. Literally, it just follows the main chords, except I exclude the root note and the 7th note. Although the 7th note comes back in here for the final chord to give it a little extra something to separate it from the build-up. And this all creates a nice and simple harmony that blends well with the main chord idea. All right, now let's add another layer of chords to just thicken up that main chord idea. So yeah, this organ from Analog Lab is extremely soulful. I think it's a B3 emulation. And all I'm doing here is playing the exact same chords as the piano, just not in quite the same rhythm. These are obviously more sustained, and that adds more of a foundation to the composition along with the vocals. So the final melodic element I have in mind is some Lush strings. Here I used the BBC Symphony Orchestra from Spitfire Audio, and all I did was play the same notes and cadence as the guitar this time. So this composition has two main ideas: the main chords with the piano and the guitar counter melody, right? Now, you'd never really want to have too many competing melodies. As you saw and heard, most of the other elements outside of the guitar are strengthening or layering the main chords. So for the strings, I chose to essentially layer the guitar instead. It strengthens the counter melody and keeps the composition, in my opinion, pleasing to the ear and not too busy. Okay, so I actually decided to add some drums to this to see what it would sound like if it were a beat. And here's a quick breakdown of the drums that I added. Now, let's hear everything all together, mixed, edited, and mastered. Alright family, well there you have it. Thanks so much for watching once again. If you made it to the end of the video, you're a legend. Please remember, if you can, hit that like button and perhaps subscribe to the channel to get more of the content that I drop that's like this. Free loop kit down in the description. I believe it's the first link. Peace, and I'll see you in the next video.